Good evening. Before we get started tonight, I'm going to ask Chief Lindsay to come forward and make an introduction, if you would, please.
All right. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Council. It's my privilege to be with you tonight to introduce our newest officer, Tyshawn Harris. Tyshawn's swearing ceremony was this morning, and he is now our 53rd sworn officer. Tyshawn is a 2018 graduate of the Ohio State Highway Patrol Academy and comes to us from the Department of Veteran Affairs in Dayton, where he was employed as a police officer since July of 2021. Prior to that, he worked as a security officer at the Cuyahoga Metropolitan Housing Authority from May 2014 through January 2018, when he was promoted to police officer. He served as a police officer there before accepting the position at the VA in 2021. Tyshawn also served in the United States Army Reserves from 2010 through 2022 before receiving an honorable discharge. As with all our newest officers, Tyshawn will go through the field training process, and upon successful completion of that, he'll be assigned to patrol under the supervision of a shift supervisor. Tyshawn comes to us highly recommended. He's got a wealth of knowledge and experience. We're excited and honored to have him a part of our department. We're glad that he decided to join Beavercreek and to serve this community. And we look forward to a long and successful career with Beavercreek. So we welcome him to the team today, and I know he's eager to say a few words.
Yes. I'm honored to be here. Thank you for the opportunity, and I can't wait to get started and be a part of the team. So thank you.
Thank you. And welcome to the family. All right, we'll call this meeting to order. Can I have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Curran.
Here.
Councilmember Dewar.
Here.
Councilmember Garcia.
Here.
Councilmember Literal.
Here.
Councilmember Schwartz.
Here.
Vice Mayor Bales.
Here.
Mayor Adams.
Here. I'll now turn it over to Councilwoman Garcia.
Yes. Stand for the pledge and a moment of prayer.
To the flag.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity to gather here today. We ask for your guidance and wisdom as we begin this meeting. Help us to be open to each other's ideas and work together in unity. And may our discussions be productive and lead to many positive outcomes. In your name we pray, amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have an agenda before us. Any changes, corrections?
Move we approve the agenda, Your Honor. Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the agenda. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And we have a couple of sets of minutes here. Regular meeting from June 23rd. Any changes, corrections?
Move we approve the June 23rd, 25 regular minutes, Your Honor.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve the regular meeting minutes from June 23rd. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention.
Abstain, Mayor.
And then we have the ones from the work session, July 14th. Any changes, corrections?
Move to approve July 14th work session minutes.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the work session minutes from July 14th. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention. One more. We have the regular meeting minutes for July 14th. Any changes to those?
Motion to approve the July 14th regular meeting minutes.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the regular meeting minutes from July 14th. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Thank you. Pre-scheduled speaker, Greene County Health Commissioner Melissa Howell. Welcome.
Welcome to you. Good evening, Mayor, City Manager Landrum, the members of council here, and those watching at home. My name is Melissa Howell. I'm the Health Commissioner for Greene County. I've been here since 2012, and it's been my honor to serve with each of you and your community members. So this year we are running a 0.8 mil renewal. Renewal. I'm sorry, there's been so much talk about levies that even I'm confused about talking about them now. But it is a 0.8 mil renewal levy. There's no additional cost to the homeowner. and it's about $28 per $100,000 valuation of a home. So if your home was, say, $500,000, that's about $140 per year that helps support our services. This is the existing structure that we have right now for funding. It does support just under 40% of our budget. We have about an $8 million budget, and it brings in just over $3 million to us each year. So what does it do? So probably what we're most well known for is trying to prevent the proliferation of disease. So disease control, working with many, many different community partners, whether it be businesses, law enforcement, hospital systems, to just help have a minimum layer of health and improving of health within our community. So you'll see us doing work in the schools, say for tobacco education, preventing vaping, car safety seats, bike helmets. We do a lot of that kind of work, as well as our environmental health programs. So we're probably second most famous for restaurant inspections, but we also do septic systems and wells, and all of those things that help a community just thrive and learn to live better together. So, so we have submitted to the county commissioners, and they've approved, as far as today, to my knowledge, the .8 mil operating levy. And again, that's about 34% of our budget, $28 per year for a $100,000 home. I'd just like to point out, too, some of the successes that we've had probably since the last time I was speaking to you. But, you know, we've become accredited. We've built a new building. We have had some successes in preparedness, disconnect to connect with cell phone use, where you're going to see a lot of satisfaction with the superintendents and the teachers, and just really helping get kids more connected in school and allowing them the freedom to just learn. So there's many, many success stories that we can point to that say, hey, your investment in us is an investment in your community, and doing it together. We can pool those dollars among all the jurisdictions and just help support our community be healthier in the long run. So if you have questions for me, I'm happy to take them. You can go to our website, which is www.greencoPHOH.gov now, or just reach out to us, 374-5600 at any time. We're happy to meet with you and show you all.
You do a great job,
Thank you.
really.
Thank you.
The folks that you have, and I think you've been very effective in Greene County, personally.
Yeah, I was very fortunate to be able to volunteer with you during the COVID time, and how Melissa and her crew came together to make that happen under some really
Right.
trying circumstances. It speaks a lot for the quality of work you guys do out there.
Well, we're used to challenging circumstances, and we're still going to be here. We don't know exactly what's coming down the pike. We try and speak with very high probability. That doesn't mean that strange possibilities don't happen occasionally, but we do feel like we are a really great resource for the community. So, thank you all.
Thank you for
Thank
what you
you.
do. Now we have a public hearing, 7 Brew rezoning, PUD 25-3.
PUD 25-3, an application filed by Commercial Site Acquisitions, Inc., 250 Civic Center Drive, Suite 500, Columbus, Ohio, 43215. The application requests approval to rezone 0.64 acres from B2 Community Business District to C-PUD Commercial Planned Unit Development. The property is located at 3919 Colonel Glenn Highway, further described as Book 1, Page 9, Parcel 44 on the Greene County Property Tax Atlas. Ordinance 25-13, an ordinance rezoning 0.64 acres from B2 Community Business, further described as Book 1, Page 9, Parcel 44 on the property tax maps of Greene County, Ohio, to C-PUD 25-3, Commercial Planned Unit Development.
Do we have an applicant here? Just state your name and your address, if you would, please.
Josh Long, 250 South Civic Center Drive, Columbus, Ohio. And I'm from Casto, who's representing the developer on the project. I also have Matt Brooks from 7 Brew, who will be the operator, as we have questions. Happy to answer them. Council members, thank you for your time. appreciate your consideration tonight. As stated, we'll looking at the 7 Brew site that's on 3919 Colonel Glenn, directly next to the Valvoline that was recently gone through a similar process that is working towards development as well. We feel this is a good use, definitely a unique location that's going to require kind of some working together, and we really appreciate the time that we've spent with staff as we've really kind of worked on this site plan and worked on this use, and we feel we've put together a good application. As stated, this is a request to zone it to a planned development. The current zoning is B2. Go ahead and go to the next slide. Here's the site in question. It's called the east corner of Germany Lane and Colonel Glenn Highway. And then the proposed Valvoline is just east of this parcel. Here's the survey. I don't know if there's anything. You can keep going. Here's the current site plan, which will be discussed in further detail during the specific site plan stage, but this is kind of conceptually what we're looking at. Kind of the big, what I would call positive of this site plan is that there is existing cuts out to Colonel Glenn, which is obviously the volume of traffic. It's been very intentional to remove those cuts because we feel that is going to create, while maybe it would have collected more traffic, it would have been unsafe conditions. I think this is going to be a much better layout, and that will all be worked out, but that was definitely a key component of just working with staff, and we've kind of had a great experience working with them. So, but really we're just here to answer any questions, and appreciate the opportunity tonight.
Thank you. Staff. Mr. Burkett?
Yes, sir. Good evening, Mayor, members of City Council. The case you have before you is PUD 25-3. It is the rezoning request. Just to reiterate, I kind do this in a lot of the PUD projects. PUDs are a two-stage process, with the first stage being a rezoning, which you do establish specific uses, and sometimes we establish setbacks, but mostly we focus on the rezoning. We focus on the uses that are allowed. And then when we get to a second phase, which is the specific site plan phase, that's when we go more into the site plan layout, architectural elevations, street layouts, or curb cuts, things like that. So we're here tonight to on the first phase, being the first reading of the ordinance. The project's located way up in the northwest corner of Beavercreek. It's north of 675, just at the intersection of Colonel Glenn and Germany Lane. The applicant pointed this out. This overall aerial photo, you can see that currently there's a lot of cars on the site. It is a vehicle sales, used in new sales operation currently. And should this rezoning go through, the intent would be to remove the existing building, and the entire site would be used as the proposed coffee drive-through. So the eyesore that's currently there would be between that and the Valvoline to the east. I think that the two projects combined will be a very aesthetically a big improvement to the area. The project, again, the property is zone B2, which is neighborhood commercial. It's kind of a remnant of when the township was, when the city incorporated in 1980, we took over the existing the zoning they had on the books. And really, in this area, Colonel Glenn Highway, a more intense commercial zoning is appropriate. As you can see, to the south is a B3, and then to the north, it's got a B4 and a portion of the CPUD that involves the mire. So that's why you'll see in a moment when we recommend a rezoning, we started at the B4 uses rather than the B2 uses, is because between the the intent of the different type of commercial zonings, meaning more intense versus less intense. Also with the land use plan, the area is designated as regional commercial, which is our highest intent of commercial activity. It's more of the regional draws rather than the community commercial or the neighborhood commercial, which is more of the community-wide or neighborhood local shopping. So being that this is a regional commercial is the other reason why we started the B4 uses. Again, they're proposing to rezone it to a CPUD, and we took the B4 uses and eliminated several uses on all of the allowed uses within the B4. You can see that in your packet, the list of all the B4 uses, and then the ones that are crossed out in red are the ones that would be disincluded from this PUD. Also in the rezoning, there is a statement that when we get to the specific site plan stage that they'll have to use four-sided architecture. We do this for all PUDs, but this one in particular, there's not really any rear building. I mean, it's got frontage on all sides. Also, they do show on the concept plan that they provided a few access points, but really you get further down the road into engineering should the rezoning get approved. So just wanted to point out that this is highly conceptual. I could point out things on this that I would want upgraded. So that would be at the specific site plan change or stage, and didn't want to confuse anybody that this was going forward as this site plan is being proposed. This is merely the rezoning, so focus on the uses and the general idea that all buildings have to have four-sided architecture and that the final access points will be decided at the site plan stage. Took this to Planning Commission. Planning Commission unanimously recommended approval, and staff is also recommending approval. I'll be here to answer any questions that council may have following the public hearing. Thank you.
Thank you very much. This is a public hearing, so if there's anyone in the room that would like to come forward and speak to this, please do so. You will have 3 minutes. State your name and your address. Seeing none, we'll close the public portion. Council, any input?
I just have one question, Randy. I was curious. I appreciated the list of the strikeouts.
Yeah.
That I've seen through there. What was the not needing to go through all of them?
Sure.
What was the mentality in going through there, and was there one thing that stood out to you guys to strike certain things out and leave other things, or was it just appropriateness of?
Well, there's a few things. First, we took what was approved at the Valvoline, and that was our starting point. We kind of wanted to make it a seamless transition between the two, so that should they ever want to either combine or have cross uses, that it makes it a lot easier. But also, being 0.064 acres, that you could a lot of the uses that we took out, like hospitals, it'd be hard to find. Motion picture theater. Farm and supply, fuel oil sales, just things like that. It would be hard to fit it on a 0.08 acre. And
I
then
was just curious if there was anything else that went into it.
a few other. There was a few things that we wanted, like vehicle sales and service. We didn't want to see that go back.
Right,
take a
because
step back.
what I read was that was actually a grandfathered thing. They really weren't, for the even current zoning, they weren't appropriate.
That's correct. Yeah, it's only permitted in B3 and B4, but that's been there since time immemorial. So.
Okay, that's really all I had.
Okay.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, no problem.
2 encomiums and 3 comments. So, encomiums, congratulations on the first location of VIII Brew, doing really well. I mean, it's absolutely fantastic success, and I have a student that works there, and it's a hopping place, and I'm one of the reasons why the line is so long at places, so it's great. Second is that please thank your corporate headquarters for a very generous donation to St. Jude Children's Hospital. My children love a YouTuber by the name of Ryan Trahan. He's going to 50 states in 50 days raising money, and VIII Brew gave a very generous donation to that, and so I think that's great. 3 comments, given that we're at this phase and not the specific site plan, but given that I've been to Severn Brew many times, I'll be looking for stacking. Just that's a big issue. Every drive-through in Beavercreek, we should note that. I'm looking at parking as well, just given the number of employees. That's something else I'll be looking for. But the final one, Mr. Burkett, is just to thank you for going through very specifically and striking through the areas to align it with the new Valvoline. It works well, and I think you've done a nice job there. So thank you.
Thank you.
Just very quickly, I don't drink coffee, but this place is packed almost 24/7. Every hour you're open, it's busy. So I don't know what you guys put in it, but you guys have done very well. I am looking forward to the specific site plan to see how we're going to handle some traffic issues. But otherwise, thank you for your investment in Beavercreek. It's a really great addition for our community.
Chuck, what? Yeah, sure. Go ahead, Chuck.
You know, I felt that the Planning Commission, Your Honor, did a good job, and I congratulate Seven Brew and have no grounds to oppose it.
I also want to thank Seven Brew for their continued investment in our community. As has been previously mentioned, it is a hit here in Beavercreek. I will also reiterate some of Councilmember Doerr's concerns in terms of stacking and things at this next phase. I've also seen people be prohibited from visiting other establishments within that section where Seven Brew is because the line is so long. So I think that that's probably going to be just one of the concerns that I'll really be looking at once we get to this next phase. But again, thank you to Seven Brew and thank you to staff for making such a great effort on knocking out uses. I think that this is going to be a huge upgrade to this little area, and I drive past it every day, so very glad to see that. Thanks.
Now, Vice Mayor Bales.
I don't want to beat a dead horse, but maybe just a little bit. I have no problem with the rezoning. The rezoning makes complete sense for this area. But I will give you a bit of advice. Is we beat Valvoline to death about stacking, and that's just an instant oil change. I live very close to the Seven Brew and have witnessed so many times traffic out onto the service road, which I brought up during that specific site plan a lot of concern about. So this is a much smaller site. It appears, at least, I mean, it seems like it visually. So I just want you to give it a lot of thought because Colonel Glenn is a very busy road, and we don't want things trickling out even onto Germany, which is, I think it's going to be hard. So I wish you the best. I thank you for your investment. It is a very popular place, and I look forward to the next phase, but I hope you can bring us some solutions to the stacking issue. Thank you.
Well, I do drink coffee, but I don't know what you're putting in yours. I've not had the opportunity to go in there and try it yet because it's always been too busy. So, but I share the concerns, and I know we'll get a specific site plan on that to make sure people can get in there and out of there quickly so that it doesn't. And I think based on your, at least the first step is you're not going to be going out onto Colonel Glenn with an access, so that's good. I think that'll help a lot. So if there is some stacking may go out on Germany, which is still not good, but we want to try to prevent that as much as we can. So, and I too have no problem with the zoning change because that is an area that really could use some cleaning up. So, anyone else? Have a motion, please.
Motion to move ordinance 25-13 to a second reading.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to move ordinance 25-13 to a second reading. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, draw something up.
Get creative.
Ordinances, resolutions, and PUDs. Resolution 25-17.
Resolution 25-17, a resolution by City Council approving the terms of a residential development agreement between the City of Beavercreek and Rockford Development Company for the development of 54.28 acres and improvement to Grange Hall Road as set forth in the reimbursement agreement attached to the residential development agreement as Exhibit D.
Mr. Lonsberry.
Thank you. As council's aware, the city transferred approximately 54 acres of land to the BDC for sale as a residential development. As part of the sale of that property to Rockford Homes, we required a development agreement and a reimbursement agreement to cover the costs of infrastructure. So under the agreements that you're seeing, which are a condition to the sale, the developer is going to design, fund, construct, and dedicate all on-site water, sanitary, storm, and street infrastructure, plus improvements to Grange Hall Road. To finance that, there is a 75% 5-year rolling TIF, as well as a 4.5 mil new community authority. The developer will front the construction costs up to $800,000, and the only reimbursements they can get from the city are through the TIF, and the only reimbursements they can get through the NCA are through the NCA itself. So if for some reason there was insufficient funding, nothing to pay them back $800,000, they're just on the hook. But they can be reimbursed if the TIF does, and the NCA provides funding, which we expect it will, up to $800,000 for those improvements.
Any input from council? Motion?
Motion to approve Resolution 25-17?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve Resolution 25-17. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Resolution 25-18.
Resolution 25-18, a resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into an agreement with Grand Communities LLC for the design, right-of-way acquisition, and construction of upgrades to an existing curve along Swigert Road.
Yes, good evening, Mayor, members of City Council. As you know, back in 2024, Grant Communities received a site plan approval for the Ellis Garden project, which is located along the west side of Swigert Road, towards the southern end of the city, and it's highlighted there on the drawing there on the screen. One of the approval conditions of that site plan approval required the developer to fund improvements to the existing sharp curve along Swigert Road, which is located along the northern edge of that property. And just to show that in a bit more detail, this is the what's shown in yellow, highlighted in yellow, is the existing curve with the proposed curve superimposed upon that. You can see there's a pretty significant shift in where the roadway is going to be with this curve improvement, and there's also some sidewalk proposed along with this project as well. Since that approval, the developer and staff have worked on some of the preliminary details for the project, as well as some estimated cost, and we're now in agreement upon the basics of the design work as well as the estimate. Right now, we're looking at $515,211 for the estimated cost, which is the amount the developer would be required to deposit with the city prior to the release of the record plan for Section 1 of their development. In order to memorialize everything, we have a proposed agreement in front of you, which kind of spells out all the details about how much money is going to be deposited and what role the developer and the city is going to have in the further development of this project. I should also mention that in addition to this project, the $515,000 improvement project, other improvements are planned along Swigert Road that'll be funded and constructed by the developer. That'll be a northbound left turn at the new development entrance, as well as a right turn decel lane into the new entrance. And that'll be constructed in conjunction with Section 1 of their development. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
You said something about sidewalk. There'd be some sidewalk. Are we talking about the, which side? Are we the south side or are we the?
Sure, and I got the drawing pulled up here. And as part of that approval condition, it actually stated in the approval condition they're required to construct sidewalk along the north end of the curve improvement, along the entire length of the improvement. And there's existing walk just back off to the east there, where it'll connect to the existing walk and extend that through the curve improvement.
I see it now. Thank you.
Back in 2024, we had a very significant discussion, a lot of input from the public. Have you heard anything new from any of the residents that live in this area?
I haven't recently, no.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Does the sidewalk end up connecting though with the new neighborhood? I can't remember. I seem to remember we discussed this, and maybe it was not going to.
Sure, and what the approval stated was what their financial responsibility is to build the walk to that point there. So it would take a city project, or we could always elect to spend additional funds when we do the bigger project to tie the walk in and connect it up. But no, that was part of the trade-off was typically they'd be required to build curb and walk along their frontage of their development of the property. The trade-off was they didn't have to do that. Instead, they had to finance the reconstruction of the curb was the trade-off. But so I guess, long story short, it is possible to extend the walk to connect it up, but it's not the developer's financial responsibility to build those improvements.
Not even in the area where they're going to widen it for their turn-in area? There won't be any requirements around that area either?
There is nothing currently, no.
On that curve, how much property did you have to acquire again?
Yeah, certainly. You can see the one property, there's already some right-of-way that's been dedicated. The pinch point is kind of that property there just to the south. It would be where we have to acquire a little bit of right-of-way along the frontage of that property. So it's a minimal amount, probably one or two property owners max, but there will be a little bit of acquisition.
How much right-of-way?
Oh, I would say probably, 1,000 square feet, something on that order.
That's included though in this estimate.
It is, yes.
Do we have anything, I know that the developer's paying or putting that money in, but say there's a delay and inflation kicks in and it's higher, what would be the responsibility of that?
Sure, and when we did that estimate, we had, I believe, a 10% contingency built into that, because you're never 100% on quantities this early in the design work, and of course inflation, so we tried to build in that factor to try to account for those things.
Thank you.
But if it were to go over, that's a cost that the city would have to bear?
That's correct, yes. The agreement would be that once we receive the $15,000 in change, that would complete their obligation under the approval condition.
Our motion?
All right, move resolution 2518.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve resolution 25-18. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Decision item. Mr. Graham, we get to talk with you again. You just seem to talk to us all the time anymore.
Good evening, council. Financial report, quarterly financial report for the first half of the year. Honestly, this is probably one of the most uneventful discussions we'll have. We'll highlight a couple of things, but in terms of, the 50% benchmark, we're generally well within that. Those areas where we aren't are highlighted in the presentation that I gave you, and we'll talk a little bit about some of those also. Property taxes, same discussion we had for the first quarter report. Obviously, we haven't gotten our second half property tax settlement. We expect we'll get that probably by mid-August, and then we'll get to look at what the final numbers were. Obviously, during first quarter, we talked a little bit about a large delinquency out there for one of the public utility companies, kind of throwing our percentages off a little bit, but like I said, that we'll see how that plays out once we get our second half settlement. Planning and development fees are slightly behind, both our budget and our actual results from the prior year. Again, it's related to what's filed when and how large the projects are, and because of this, I don't know that there's any great concern right now. It's not a huge source of revenue. But it is, something we keep an eye on. Franchise fees, we can continue to see declines in those, about 5% per year, and we're staying with that for this year. Interest income is down. It's ahead of the budget projections, but it is behind last year's actual results, and that's because interest rates have gone from last year, the money market rates were 5.44% at this point. Right now, they're 4.45%, 18% decrease. And, feds are talking about further cuts to interest rates. So, again, one of the things that while the interest income was really good, it's not something I necessarily want to be relying on. With expenditures in the general fund, everything is within that 50% benchmark. Capital items are always lagging a little behind. Plus, we had the $500,000 grant money that was included in the budget for a match for We had $500,000 budgeted in capital for match of a grant that we did not receive. So that excess money is still in there, kind of throwing those numbers. Within police, intergovernmental revenue is down. It's just due to timing. Beavercreek Township did not get the first half payment for dispatch by June 30th. So it's just a timing issue, nothing to be concerned about. Within emergency dispatch 911, we are sitting at 72% of our budget there. That's directly related to the implementation of the PSISN new system. It's now web-based, so not only is the software costing us a little more, but we're also having to pay a little bit more on the internet access, both of those have kind of driven that number up a little bit, something we'll certainly be looking at as we do our 2026 budget. I think last quarter we talked about street levy, the admin expenses. A lot of those are high early in the year. It includes our insurance and software that comes due annually. Those are all first quarter items. Both capital and intergovernmental revenue are well behind, with that 50% benchmark. But again, those are revenues that come in as projects are done. Usually takes them at least a month to behind in the billing of what the work they've done. So we expect those to catch up rapidly during the year. Parks charges for services came in at 77% of the budgeted amount. We saw like a $20,000 increase in the summer camp because they added an extra week. Again, the parks program seemed to be very popular. 77% is a little misleading because, of course, most of the programs are in the summer, and so, but still, revenue's coming in well ahead of budgeted amounts. Golf number of rounds are down 2%, but revenue is up 6% because of a change in the pricing. No longer having the premium rates. The premium rate takes you through the day now instead of, if you wanted to be out there at 7 in the morning before people like me were allowed on the golf course, you could pay a little extra. So expenses are at 54% of the budgeted amounts. And again, a lot of this it's a summer-driven program. A lot of their expenses, the cost of goods that they sell in the pro shop, they're very front-end loaded, as well as the fertilizer that, in order to get the discount, they purchase early in the year for everything they'll need for the entire year. Last thing I would bring to mind is, I don't know if anybody ever looks at our schedule of investments, but we have a number of callable bonds out there. Nobody's going to call them. They're at about 1% to 2%. But just kind of explain, we were buying callable bonds back at that time because we didn't see the rates going up, and you could get a better rate by buying a bond that was callable. Those are all maturing. We aren't buying any more callable bonds. And it's also important to remember that about 75% of our investments are still sitting in highly liquid investments, which is consistent with our investment goals or policy. With that, I'm happy to take any questions.
Any questions?
Motion to accept the second quarter financial report.
Second.
A motion and a second to accept the second quarter financial report. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, Mr. Graham. Next up, council time. Councilwoman Garcia.
Thank you. Not much tonight. I just want to welcome again Officer Harris. His resume and accomplishments are very impressive, and so I'm very grateful for his continued service, and specifically in the city of Beavercreek. So that's really wonderful to see. Thank you for having him come tonight. Thank you to staff for all of your hard work over the weekend. For those of you who don't know or weren't there, we had an amazing meeting on Saturday. We had really good presentations from council. So thank you again for staff for putting that together for us. It was really helpful to hear where we are in the process on everything. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Schwartz.
I was not here because I was out of town for work, and so I have a few things that I wanted to mention. Just want to thank staff, and again, thank the Yoshi family for the 4th of July celebration. It was tremendous. The turnout was great. The parade was smoldering hot as always, but it was a great time, and so just want to thank everyone for that. I also want to extend my thanks to staff for our council management strategy session. It was very productive, very informative, and it always gives me a new reinvigoration when we meet and kind of go over everything. So it was a great Saturday. Before I left, we had another planned Beavercreek meeting. I'm sure Councilman Littoral may have spoken a little bit about it at our last meeting, but since I wasn't there, I think it was incredibly productive. I am very impressed with the work that they have done, and I am excited that it's going to be shared with everyone, I believe, in one of the next few council meetings, just an update on kind of what their proposals and their ideas are. And so if you haven't had a chance, I encourage you to go on the website and look at all of the different plans that they have put forward, but essentially just a really clear vision, and they did something that I thought may be impossible, and so excited to share that with others. And last but certainly not least, we had a Region 14 meeting last month. There is no update on the timing of this year's grant schedule. They have not set a date for when proposal or the RFPs are going to go out, so we'll keep everyone updated on that. But we did get a presentation from one of our grantees, which was Greene County Public Health, and they talked about basically a mobile unit that they use to go to different areas and distribute Narcan, and it's been incredibly successful. And so very glad to see those funds being put to good use. And that's all I have. Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you very much. Councilman Curran.
Thank you, Your Honor. Again, I want to welcome the new officer to the Beavercreek Police Department. It's really great that we're moving up in numbers, and just great to welcome him tonight. Also, don't forget Wednesday evening, night out at Rotary Park. And we want to encourage our citizens to stop out and talk to the police department, opportunity for community engagement. And I think it's going to be a great evening, maybe a little warm, but I think it'll be a lot of fun. And also, of course, the staff want to thank the manager and all the presenters at our Saturday workshop. It was just a tremendous time, learned a lot, and a vigorous exchange. Yes. Thank you, Your Honor.
If you want to stay cool at the National Night Out, they're looking for people to be in the dunk tank.
Bad back, you know, I'd fit. Did a lot of dunk tanking, but
Councilman Dewar.
I'm not there now.
Well, speaking of which, I have volunteered to go in the dunk tank, so if anyone wants to get me, you are more than welcome. But wonderful opportunity. Thank you to Chief and for putting on the Night Against Crime, and for all our officers, dispatchers do. Great to meet Officer Tyshawn Harris this morning, his fiance. Mayor, great job with the swearing in, and really wonderful. Similar discussion about the strategy session. Thank you to staff and all of council. A lot of great ideas there. I want to thank the Parks Department and Public Works just for the great work they do. There's a lot of behind the scenes this time of year, just grass cutting, picking up the garbage, things of that nature. I could do a lot of running and walking. And I see them out early, 6:30 or so a.m., and they're out and getting ready and sweeping the grounds. And so it really is great work on behalf of the city and making everything look good. So appreciate it, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councilman Literal.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to congratulate Officer Harris also, and also Chief. Good job getting that staffing up. It's an amazing thing for Beavercreek. Can't commend you enough on that. That's no little thing. Also, the strategy session that happened on Saturday, I just want to share with everybody that's here, including council. I can tell you honestly, the first time I went through that, I thought it lasted forever and was I was confused. I think it's just because I was a new guy, didn't know what was going on, but everybody did such a good job. So much engagement. I was so impressed, and I thought time went really fast. And staff, you did a great job. I wasn't bored at all. I stayed awake. Stayed awake the whole time, so good job. You know, it was a little chilly.
It was chilly.
And that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Vice Mayor Bales.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, much of the same. I do want to thank staff for putting on the retreat, but I also want to thank the citizens who are here tonight that also showed up and listened the entire day. I think it was very valuable information, and I always enjoy those retreats to be able to, in a more casual environment, talk about the issues and get the updates from the team. So thank you for putting it on. And Chief, I'm sorry I missed this morning. I try and attend all of the swearing-ins, but unfortunately had a conflict. But thank you for bringing Officer Harris here tonight, and I wish him a great career. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I too want to welcome Officer Harris. Getting to 53, worked with the police department for a long time. I didn't think we'd ever get to this number, especially back when we were at 42 and 43. So it's really nice to see that. And we will be at 55 because we have 2 in the academy right now. So that's really exciting. I'm happy to see that. And I'm also a little concerned about a uniform for Officer Harris once he gets into the powerlifting thing, because he told me he's going up to 280 pounds and with no fat. So, I mean, I don't know if we got uniforms that big. Yeah, his are really tight too. I was able to attend a ribbon cutting for Rustic Pros over the last couple of weeks. It's a company that Vice Mayor Bales and his brother are involved with, and I think it's really a good company to have here. It's definitely needed, especially with the kind of weather we've been having. And I think it's shown in the fact that you guys are pretty busy. I was able to attend a Chamber of Commerce Chamber Links at I think it was the Ashford, which is another new place in Beavercreek here that caters to our older generation. I was invited to go visit with the local robotics club. Over the years, the robotics has been in the high school or the middle school, but because of funding and things like that, now they've moved a lot of that out. So they're on their own and private programs, if you will. And these kids were really impressive, just amazing. They're middle schoolers and high schoolers, and the things that they were talking about, and they do this thing where they have to job share. They have to go around and learn everything, and then they zero in on the thing that they really like to do. And then they settle in on programming or documentation, graphic design. I watch these kids making parts to go into a robot on the computer, and it was an 8th grader that was doing it, and that's you've got your hands full one of these days when they get to you. I was also able to attend a Pups on a Patio event at Wandering Griffith. That's to support Ellie's Rainy Day Fund. That's an organization that helps people that have animals that need a lot of help, a lot of medical attention, and they can't afford it. So this is a way that they can help provide the veterinary and the hospital stays for their pets, which I think is really needed as someone that has a pet that it's important to. We had the ice cream social at the Beavercreek Historical Society. If you've not been out to visit Wardinger Park, I highly recommend it. There's a lot of really good things, a lot of history about Beavercreek out there, and the new barn and all the facilities that are with that. They've done a really nice job with that out there. And then I was also able to attend a farewell event for Colonel Travis Pond, who's the vice commander of the 88th Air Base Wing. He'll be retiring as of this Friday, and so I wish him a lot of luck. He is going to stay in Beavercreek because he likes to play at our golf course. So that's all I have.
All right, just a few quick announcements. Just a reminder, we do this went out to the public under a different type of press release, but Senior Center has launched a fundraising campaign to purchase one new large transportation van. The current van is nearing the end of its life, and so we're needing to replace that. Program provides a lot of trips to seniors, access to health care, shop for groceries, stay socially connected, and so forth. So if you'd like to participate in the senior fundraiser, contact the Beavercreek oh.myrec.com or contact the Senior Center on Dayton Xenia Road there to donate. No donation is too small. Night Against Crime, this was mentioned. This is Wednesday in combination with the park at Rotary Park. So this is Wednesday, July 30th, 6 to 8. Come on out, join the fun family evening, and meet first responders. Work hard to keep our community safe. Food trucks, live entertainment, inflatables, and a variety of municipal and emergency response vehicles on display, as well as apparently a dunk tank that I will, Mr. Kern and myself will be staying away from. But I give it to you, Councilmember Dewar, for literally jumping into it. Town Hall, this is coming up, just about a little over a month away, August 27th from 6 to 8 p.m. At the golf club this year. The city will be inviting anybody to come out, would learn about city finances and have the most updated information and ability to have questions answered. Our last show has been rescheduled for this coming Sunday. It was had a rain delay, so they've came back out. But Mosaic Church Band is playing classic rock hits from the 60s to the 80s. So bring a lawn chair. So that is August 3rd, 7 to 8. That is the last concert in the park of the year. And just a couple days left of the Enter Explorer Beavercreek. So the challenge there for the chance of winning exciting prizes that have been donated. The deadline to complete the challenge and submit your entry is this Friday, August 1st. So get out there and get that completed. One of the last things, open house for Grange Hall Road project, the pedestrian improvement project, is August 5th. So that's next Tuesday, 5 to 7 here at City Hall in Council Chambers. The project, Beavercreek Senior Center. I don't know why I read that. I even looked at it. It's at the Senior Center in the community room on Dayton Xenia Road. Project will include safer pedestrian and biking access, connection Dominic Lefino Park to Research Boulevard. So it's a long stretch of and connecting, which is very good to connect. The use of the curbs and the path, ADA compliant as well, ramps that enhance safety and accessibility. So the open house will include exhibits for the project, so you can be able to actually look and ask questions of the engineers and those staff that are here. The construction of this, though, we're not talking about this year. We're talking 26 to start and going through expected to complete in fall of 2027. For you're unable to attend, though, we do take feedback, engineering at beavercreekohio.gov by September 5th. And I think we developed a webpage out there under engineering that tells about this information. Or any questions, please feel free to contact us. And that's all I have tonight.
Thank you very much. We've now reached the point for citizen comment. If you'd like to address council on any issue, please come forward. You'll have 3 minutes. State your name and your address.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, City Council. My name's Bob Trout, 2187 Bassett Court. And I have a couple of comments. The first one is going to be on the Rockford Homes project. And my question is, the documents that I read indicated there was on the property cards and everything were 54.28 acres. And in the documentation at the final end, it indicated that it was surrendering 52.28 acres, and I am curious as to where the additional 2 acres went. So that is going to be something that I would like an answer on if possible. And the other questions that I have is the property that the development center is going to be selling, what's the market value, what's the asking price, and then eventually what is the sale price of the property. Would like to know that also. The other item that I have is Swigert Road construction, and that's the cost of the sidewalk. And from what I understood tonight is that the sidewalk is going to be funded with the developer. My question is that there is a new house that is going into that area, and if that sidewalk goes around there, I'm just curious as to why they're not paying for their sidewalk. Because if they bought the house and everything else like that, that would become an owner responsibility. So that's just a question that I have, and everything is good, but I would like to know why that's not something that is factored in for sidewalk purchases to cover homes, existing homes there. So it's a question. The other item that I do have is in regard to the Saturday meeting. I did enjoy that. I did not stay the whole day. I left just a little bit after 12 o'clock, but it was very interesting. There was some good information. The only thing that I was disappointed in is that there was no slides available for the residents to look at. So that would be a comment that would be worthwhile addressing somewhere down the road. But again, thank you all for everything, and to the briefers at the meeting and everything else like that. I think you did a bang-up job. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else? Seeing none, I'll close the public or the citizen comment portion. Mr. Curran, do you have something to say?
Second.
I have a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Apparently not. We are adjourned.
Andy.